Stop
and
recording.
all of the details
I don't know when that
related to
happened.
how you're going to vote, and then make a plan when you're going to vote and how you're going to vote and what the address is, and put it in your Google Calendar or your iCal and really make a plan. Because if you don't have a plan, what ends up happening is you'll find yourself on November 5th being like, oh shit, I don't have time to check that. I've got work today, I've got class, and I'm hungover. So, but make a plan and make sure you actually implement it and give time in the schedule to make it happen. But don't just do that. Get your friends and family to do the same thing, because guys, I'm telling you, it could come down to as few people as are standing right here in these elections. It's so critical that you turn out. One of the things that people keep asking me is, what can I do? I really care about civic engagement and who gets elected this cycle. I think it's really important. What should I do? And what I say is, just don't be complacent. Be engaged. Talk to people. Find some friends who haven't checked their voter registration status. If you were purged from the rolls, chances are that you have a couple friends who were too. Make sure your friends check their status.
Like your sister was.
Yes. Go ahead.
Another thing you want to check too, and that I discovered
I got pictures of me talking to them too.
that they're also changing
So party affiliation might be, all kinds of things might be screwed up.
if you're registered as independent.
So pay attention. Check your status in all ways. Yes.
I just wanted to speak to the importance of down ballot voting, because we might have voted blue here, right? But it doesn't matter because nothing gets done in this state because they still control the House and they still, right? That's right. Down ballot voting.
To go to Annalise Ortiz TikTok. She has explanations of how to vote on every single one
was gross.
of the ballots that are being presented, including judges. Judges are
Can you
important.
repeat the TikTok? Who's?
Annalise Ortiz. She's one of your representatives. You can
Oh,
also
I know
go to
her.
Ruben Gallego and support him because he's in a neck-and-neck race with Miss Lake.
God help us.
So Carrie Lake is like a right-wing MAGA conspiracy theory extremist. She would be funny at times, but not constructive to have as your representative in the Senate. Ruben Gallego, I had lunch with him this fall. He
That's
is
fancy.
just head down, focused on really delivering for the people of Arizona. He would be a great senator for you all. He's smart and he's engaged and he really knows the issues. So I can personally vouch for him. But down ballot is really important. There's an interesting fact, which is a lot of people, there's a particularly galvanizing issue on the Arizona ballot. It's Prop 139, which would codify access to abortion as a right for Arizona citizens. And as it stands right now, after 15 weeks, even in cases of rape and incest, abortion is denied in the state of Arizona. And Prop 139 would legalize, would essentially bring back sort of Roe era, the abortion standards. And a lot of people support that. The majority of voters support that. But what we've found across the country is when abortion initiatives have been on the ballot, the more progressive abortion rights bills have been passing. But down ballot, the Democrats who actually support those policies have not been getting the same level of support. And the fact of the matter is, if those issues are important to you, you also need representatives in government who are also going to advocate for those issues. So down ballot is important, and it's really, there are lots of websites. There are lots of, you can go to politicians' websites that you trust. You can go to the League of Women Voters. You can go to all kinds of different sources to get, if you spend 5 minutes looking at your local ballot initiatives, you can get all the information you need to make an informed decision and vote in ways that align with your values and what you care about.
The NEA and the AEA also, the National
The
Education Association.
National Education Association
and the
lists.
Arizona, I think it's the Arizona Education Association. It's for teachers.
there's another resource. Yes.
What would you say to voters who can't conscience voting for Harris because of her and Biden's stance on the genocide in Palestine?
The question is about Palestine, and there are a lot of voters who are maybe standing on the sidelines or saying that they're not going to participate in this election because Biden has been too staunchly supportive of Israel during this conflict. I would say this, it's a very polarizing issue, and it's a very difficult line to walk for politicians. I know that Kamala Harris has been much more outspoken in defense of the citizens of Gaza, and I support that. But I would also say this is one issue of many hundreds that are important and affect not just our lives, but the health of the entire planet. And I can tell you with absolute conviction that if you care about the citizens of Gaza, the candidate who is going to be the worst option for you is Donald Trump. He absolutely doesn't care about
Anything?
He doesn't care about the citizens of Gaza. He proved to you that he actually has animus for Muslims. The very first action that he took when he was president was a Muslim ban that was literally the most racist act perpetrated by a U.S. president in the last 100 years. That's not true. We had Japanese internment camps in the 1940s. So it was a runner-up. But that's what I would say. Yes.
I just wanted to say that former Nation President Jonathan Nez is also running for
Oh, baby.
That's right.
on the Democratic ticket. So
That's okay.
show your support for him too, because he's very
So
grassroots, trying to get.
Jonathan Nez is also running for office. It's not in this district, but it's an adjacent district, if I'm not mistaken, and that's also a close race. So if you want to do canvassing and supporting, or if you happen to live in that district, pay attention. Yes.
Can I?
Yeah.
Hi. If you are in LD3, which is what you're in right now, and you'd like to know the candidates that are supported by LD3, I have them right here. You can come talk to me. The issue at hand is people for school boards and city positions are nonpartisan. They're not allowed to put an R or a D next to their name on the ballot. So if you want to know who you're voting for, please, I'm happy to give you all the information that you need to support the candidates that you want to support. But in order to vote down ballot for Democrats, you've got to know who you're voting for because it doesn't say it on the ballot. Okay? So I'll be over here by the tree. Happy to talk to anyone.
Technically, Joe Biden's support for Palestine was
Yes.
She's like, sign my book.
yes, Netanyahu not to become Rafah. It's actually
Yeah, so
Israel said that
I'm
he had
doing
no
an
say
event
in the
on
war and just
Tuesday
as a cash cow type of thing.
called Geeks for Harris.
It's more as a
And
politicians
I love that Geek has become an identity group. It's about time. It's funny because I did this like Dudes for Harris event, which was largely, sorry, it wasn't just Dudes for Harris, it was White Dudes for Harris. And I was like, ooh, I'm a little cringy about doing this. In the end, it ended up being a good event, and we addressed the fact that it was white dudes in a way that I thought was I was on board with. But when the Geeks for Harris option came up, it was very cool to notice, like, oh, I have no compunction about that. I feel great about self-identifying as a geek. And yes, we have quite a lineup of cast from the show that most of you earlier indicated you've never heard of, Supernatural. Supernatural is sort of banding together with the Boys cast. And Eric Kripke, who's the creator of both shows.
Patiently
he and I
waiting
have
for
been
you to get on that show.
coordinating this whole thing. We have some surprise cast attendees who don't often speak out on political issues, but are going to be throwing their support behind Harris in this event that we're going to be announcing shortly, which I'm quite excited about. I love that these subcultures are coalescing to support. It's like we have these little fantasy realms that are now impacting reality. It's it's a strange little world that we live in, but I love that that the geeks and the nerds are wresting power from the corporate machine. So,
And where do we find that available?
Geeks, I don't know. I'm a geek, not a nerd.
Will you put it on your social media?
Yeah, I put it up on my social media, and I will be posting about it more. But if you Google Geeks for Harris, you're going to find it.
Need help, baby?
Yes.
You want it up?
Yes.
What?
You got 8 minutes.
I have to wrap up in about 8 minutes, and then I think we probably can just do a big group photo because unfortunately, I made a terrible mistake, and I had children, which I have to get back to. So I have to fly home. Yes, sir.
Do you think history is repeating itself with the wars in like with Russia and Ukraine, and then because in like the